Lesson 17, Chun. There are a number of ideas about where Chun originates. One way to think of it is that you've got San, 3, Ren, and underneath. You can also think of it as this depicting the growth, the new growth of plants in the spring, and the ground being warmed by the sun. Hung, not as long as the first one. Hung, a really long one. Pie, na. Shu, hung, ja, hung, chun. Jiao, this is a depiction of just a person who is walking slowly. The slowness is that dian, so walking slowly a long time. Pie, hung, pie, na. Fang, to place, to set, or release. The component on the right is pu, which means to strike or hit anciently, a depiction of a hand holding a stick to beat something. So in this case, indicating something you do with your hand. The left-hand side is phonetic. Dian, hung, pie, hung, ja. Go, pie, hung, pie, na. Fang. Jia. This component anciently was a depiction of skin, a hide that had been preserved. So by extension, a second skin or a disguise, something that's false. Renzapong was added to it. So pie, shu, hung, ja, hung, shu, hung, ja, hung, pie, na. Jia, xia. This character is used just for its sound. It's the name of the first dynasty, of which there's no definite archaeological reference because they didn't write. The top part is a head, someone's head. The bottom part is zhi, which is a foot. In this case, is just referring to probably a person. So anciently, this was the name of a Chinese person, xia, just now borrowed for summer. Hung, pie, shu, hung, ja, hung, pie, na. Xia. Qiu is a depiction of the millet, the grain, which is the plant in the ground showing the leaves and the roots, and the ripe ear of grain is hanging over. Millet. Millet was a staple crop of northern China anciently. It's the round bird seed that you see in birdseed. Hua, fire. So in the autumn, you would burn off the stubble of the grain. So that is autumn. Pie, hung, shu, go, pie, dian, pie, dian, qiu. Dong. Dong, underneath dong, you've got two dots. It's like liang dian shui, which means ice. And then the top part, zhi, is the foot again, but in this case, it's just, it's a stand-in for another word that meant the end of a skein of thread. So the end of the year was the winter. Pie, hung, pie, na. Dian, qi. This character is just used for its sound. The original meaning is a depiction of a basket. Hung, shu, shu. Hung, 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 pie, dian, qi. Zui. Also borrowed for its sound, you've got three components on top, and then this part is an ear, like a person's ear, and then the right hand. These two components together are pronounced chu, to grasp, to pick something up. So this is phonetic in the other, and then the character was borrowed for the sound of most. So we have the sun on top, hung, shu, hung, hung, shu, ti, hung, pie, na. Zui. Okay, the next character is nuan, which means warm. The right-hand side is phonetic. This top part is a depiction of a hand, like that. And the bottom part, a hand with a line and then friend. And friend is a depiction of, this thing here is a hand reaching one way, and that yo is a hand reaching the other way. So we have two hands together in friendship. That is yo, friend. And then we have a line and another hand over the top. Okay, so that's just the phonetic. The radical is sun, which indicates the warmth. And you elongate it because of the shape of the character. So here we go. Shu, hung, ja, hung, hung. Pie, dien, dien, dien. Hung, hung. Pie, hung, ja, na. Nuan. The next character, duan. Short in length, not short in height. Has two components. The left-hand component is arrow. The right-hand component is a bean. In this case, it's just phonetic, normally pronounced do. So we suppose that the arrow fell short of its mark, tried to hit a bean and missed. So to put those together, pie, hung, hung, pie, dien, hung, shu, hung, ja, hung, dien, dien, hung, duan. The next character, zhe, hot, is indicated by the fire on the bottom. So the four dots on the bottom of a character, sometimes it can indicate legs, sometimes it can indicate drops of water, or often it indicates fire. So hua is usually written like this, and if you see there are four strokes, if they need to be fit at the bottom of a character, they'll be written with four dots. And the top part is phonetic. I'd break it down more for you, but we'll just go with it being phonetic. So you've got the hand component, hung, shugo, ti, hung, ja, wan, go, pie, dien, and that needs to go through, dien, 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 zhe, hot. The next character is just phonetic. It is a simplified character that originally meant flower, but is now mostly used to refer to China, but in this lesson, it is just used for the transcription of a name. So the top component, hua, to change, actually depicts two people. So the old form of writing a person, if I can remember at this moment, is something like this. So the ancient form was, it's more like that. A person facing one way and another person turned upside down facing the other way. To change, to flip, something to that effect. I'm sure I've got it wrong. And then the sure on the bottom is just to fill in for other things that are left out. Okay, so here we go. Pierre, shu. Pierre, shu wan go, hung, shu, hua. The next character indicates clan, and if it comes after a surname, it means just Mr. or that particular family. So in this case, it means Mr. Fahrenheit. So we start with along Pierre, Shugo, Hung, Ciego, Sure. And the next character, Bai, 100, is a simple adaptation of a phonetic. So we start off with which is sun. You put a dot on it, which refers to the color of the sun. The dian only indicates that it's not the same character as this, but it's pronounced Bai, the color of the sun, which is white. Now we're going to use that as a phonetic for Ibai, for 100. So we've got the mark, a number, I guess, a numbering, then the Bai underneath for the phonetic. 100. Hung, Pierre, Shu, Hung, Ja, Hung, Bai. So Du is composed of two components. This is an ancient character meaning the common people. Yo, the right hand. So in counting the people, you come up with numbers, so by extension, degrees. Here we have that shelter component again. Dian, Hung, Pierre, Hung, Shu, Hung, Pierre, Na, Du. Ji means the extreme or the ultimate, like Taiji Chen means the ultimate pole. So the North Pole is Beiji. It's composed of Mu. I don't know why. And then the phonetic is this, which means together with. It's just a phonetic component. So here we go. Hung, Shu Go, Pierre, Dian, Hung, Ja, Hung, Pierre, Na, Ji. Gua is composed of two things. This on the left, which is the phonetic here, is sh, meaning tongue. Shato is just the modern word for tongue. The thing on the right is li dao pang, the knife radical to the side, or the standing up knife radical. So dao is usually written like this, but as a radical compressed to the right side, it looks like that. The knife radical looks like a cleaver. So the wind, when it blows, feels like it can cut. I suppose that's where it comes from. It also means to shave. Pierre, Hung, Shu, Hung, Ja, Hung, Shu, shu go, gua, feng. Originally, this seemed to indicate insects blowing in the wind. This outside component, I believe, is phonetic. So we start with pie, hung, ja, wan, go, pie, na, feng, yu. So this is a depiction of the heavens above, hung, and then strands of raindrops falling down in what looks like this character, which means cloth or a pennant or a strip of cloth like a headband. Shu, hung, ja, go, shu. So those are the strands falling down, and then here are the raindrops. Dian, 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 dian. Cold is signified by liang dian shui, 2 drops of water, which always refers to ice. The right-hand side is phonetic, ling. And no one seems quite sure about the origin of that. Dian, dian, pie, na, hung, hung, pie, dian, lung. Xue shows rain on the top, and the bottom part is hand. So the mnemonic, the rain that has to be moved by hand, I don't know if that has anything to do with the origin of it, but it can help you remember it. Hung, shu, hung, ja, go, shu, dian, 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 hung, ja, hung, hung. So you can see how that resembles a hand anciently written like that. I think that's pretty straightforward. The end of lesson 17.